Next, let's have a big round of applause. Let's get close. Let's listen to Bridget. We really appreciate you coming back. Welcome.
Thank you, Shelly. First of all, I just want to give a big shout out to Shelly, Aaron, Weed Maps, Mellow Mood, and all the vendors that are here, and especially all of you guys. Come on, a little louder, come on! So I'm here today to tell you a story about my daughter and how cannabis is saving her life. So 7 years ago, my daughter was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And naturally, for any parent, that's a scary thing to have such a serious medical condition for your child. They told us that because of the placement of the tumor, because it was on her brainstem, that it wasn't possible to do surgery. Everybody said no surgery, no surgery. So about a month later, I'm sitting at my desk. I worked for Western Medicine at the time, and all of a sudden I get a phone call saying, we need your daughter in Utah in 2 days. I just kind of went into shock. I couldn't believe it. We ended up bringing her to Utah to have major brain surgery. They got enough of the tumor to biopsy it and find out that it was a pilocytic astrocytoma, which is a slow-growing tumor. And we were just excited that it was not a glioblastoma, because that's the fast-growing tumors. So we brought her home. When we brought her home, she was wheelchair-bound. She could barely talk, and she had completely lost the ability to write. So fast forward to January 2017, she was having her annual MRI, and the MRI came back that the tumor had started to grow, unfortunately, again. This absolutely broke my heart. It just kind of re-traumatized me from the initial diagnosis. So I was afraid that if I sent her back to Western Medicine, that they would kill her for sure this time. I just knew that that is what would happen. So I had to find an alternative, a safer alternative for my daughter. And so we had a benefit for my daughter, and a gentleman approached me at the benefit and told me he knew a guy that had a cure for cancer that was non-invasive and it could help her. So next thing I know, this gentleman that approached me would end up making her Rick Simpson oil, also known as Phoenix Tears, and would ultimately save her life. That gentleman would be Mr. Glenn Broughton of Starbuds. Thank you. Yes, can I get a huge round of applause for all of our growers, all of our magicians? Woo! Glenn and his wife Jill, Darren, the bud tender at Starbuds. I cannot say enough for these real life angels. They have gone above and beyond to help save my daughter. So in January of 2017, my daughter was given 2 years to live because of the growth of the tumor. This is really hard news to hear, that your child is going to die, that you're going to have to bury your daughter. No parent wants to hear that your child has an expiration date, and now you need to think not so much long term, but you need to think, what do you want to do with your daughter now? What do you want your daughter to see? Because she's not going to live. So she started Rick Simpson oil March of 2017. Woo! By the first MRI, which was in May of 2017, the tumor had shrunk and was stable because of Rick Simpson oil. Yes, I'm so excited. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I come from Western Medicine, so I've worked for surgeons and ERs all my life, so I'm used to being on the other side. I'm used to be the one taking care of you guys. And so I couldn't believe it. The next MRI we had also showed the tumor was still shrinking and stable. The third MRI came back, still shrinking and stable, and I knew that this was for real. These tests can't be wrong. This is Western Medicine telling me that this Rick Simpson oil, cannabis, pot, reefer madness, the devil's lettuce, is saving my daughter's life. So I decided I quit working for Western Medicine. I decided, since this is saving my daughter's life, I'm going to take all my experience from Western Medicine and I'm going to use it in the cannabis industry. I'm going to advocate for cannabis for kids. I'm going to advocate for cannabis for everyone. Everyone deserves safe and legal access to this amazing medicine. Can I get some noise for Rick Simpson oil, you guys? For those of you who don't know what Rick Simpson oil is, Rick Simpson, RSO, yep, RSO, Phoenix Tears. It's a very, very strong cannabis concentrate. So in order to kill cancer, you have to take a lot of this Rick Simpson oil. For any of you that were here yesterday, my daughter would be on stage with me today, but the heat got to her, so she wasn't feeling well. I didn't have the heart to drag her out today. But so my daughter is about 100 pounds soaking wet. She's 25 years old today. And so you can imagine how very strong cannabis would act on a little tiny girl like that. So she was really, really high. The protocol was 90 grams in 90 days. And she ended up building a tolerance for it. And she's taking care of 2 toddlers while taking this very strong cannabis medicine. So I just feel like that's proof that this is a safe alternative. If I would have sent her back to Western medicine, they would have for sure, well, not for sure, I can't say for sure, but chances are pretty high that they would have killed her this time. The first surgery left her, she was given a 15% chance to live. And now my daughter has no expiration date thanks to marijuana. So my mission now is to dedicate my life to cannabis. I educate everybody I can. I tell everybody I can. It's kind of a shock for people to see me come out of the closet because they're used to seeing me in ERs, working with surgeons, and so I figured this is the best way to spread the word, is to step out of the closet and step into the light and say, you know what? Cannabis heals. This is what a stoner looks like right here. So I decided to represent all of us stoners and show the world that we are great people. We are productive members of society. We hold jobs. We raise kids. My grandson is in the audience right now. If you ask my grandson what is killing his mom's cancer, he will tell you cannabis. So we're raising him right. So, yeah, how much time do I have? Am I running out of time? Okay, perfect. So then I guess I'll just send a bunch of shout outs here. I want to give a special thanks to Starbuds, Glenn Broughton and Jill, Darren Cameron, Shelly, Aaron, Weed Maps, Mellow Mood. Check out Mellow Mood. They're one of my favorite pipe shops. I now do live strain reviews online. So check me out on Facebook. I do the strain reviews out of Colorado with a group called Legalize It, Don't Criticize It. We reach minimum 30,000 people each show we do. The most people we've reached is 100,000 people. So check us out. Check me out on Facebook. I've got an Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. It's called BRIDGET's Cannabis Corner. Check those out. Share our message so we can spread the word that cannabis is a healthy, healing plant and it can save lives. So I guess I'm going to leave it here and say peace, love, and